I smile back and I say, yes sir, I'm your local, mobile, friendly monster. Everybody put your hands up, cause this ice cream man about to instruct. Everybody good, every day's a fun day, when you got yourself a human Sunday. Everybody put your hands up, cause this ice cream man's on the come up. Everybody good, every day's a fun day, we got yourself a human Sunday. Everybody put your hands up, cause this ice cream man about to instruct. Everybody good, every day's a fun day, when you got yourself a human Sunday. Everybody put your hands up, cause this ice cream man's on the come up. Everybody good, every day's a fun day, we got yourself a human Sunday.
Alright, motherfucker, so a couple weeks ago I shot the fucking dog that lives across the way.
El Paso Elsewhere is what you get when you combine the likes of Remedy Studios' Max Payne and Control. What you get is exactly what you think when I say that. El Paso Elsewhere is exciting, emotional, and horrific all at the same time. And for being an indie game, I don't think there's much comparison to other indie games in recent years in terms of quality and style. Don't be fooled by the graphics. This game has a style, somewhat inspired by Control, but let's start at the beginning.
Oh shit. This is bad.
You play as James Savage, a recovering addict that used to date a vampire. Yeah, in this universe, cryptids are real and they live alongside humanity. James just happened to date a vampire. He didn't know it at first, though. Now his ex, Dracula, is planning to complete a ritual to destroy the world. And this ritual is being done in a motel in the middle of nowhere, El Paso. Underneath this motel, now, is the Void that has created multiple levels based on Dracula's memories and turned them into labyrinths. James travels there to put a stop to it, even if it means he dies. This game is very much like Max Payne. It's a third-person shooter with a bullet time ability and shoot dodge. El Paso Elsewhere does have a dedicated way to roll, though. It also designs its maps to have escape routes and flanks for the player that can be used by lunging or rolling. This sometimes makes for more interesting encounters, especially when smaller enemies can also use these. The maps are designed to look disjointed and unnatural, which they do a pretty good job of, but are actually pretty easy to navigate. I can't say there was ever a time where I was really lost in one of these levels and had no idea where to go, mainly because you can follow the enemy spawns as well as the beams of light, indicating hostages to save. These hostages basically represent checkpoints. With each time you save a hostage, a new pathway becomes accessible. That's the main rundown of the gameplay. Now I want to get into more specifics. El Paso Elsewhere doesn't waste your screen space with an inventory full of weapons. Instead, you get 6 guns, Molotovs, and a dedicated melee weapon, the stake. The stake is appropriate since you do fight vampires. The Molotov is useful but almost crashed the game on several occasions. The guns each have their own unique purpose with each encounter, requiring you to use multiple. The pistol, your starter weapon, is somewhat weak but can be dual-wielded. The shotgun is powerful at most ranges but can sometimes take a while to reload. The Tommy gun has a high rate of fire, but should be used at longer ranges due to its pinpoint accuracy. The Uzi is great, just great, not many complaints with it, other than the ammo being somewhat rare. The marksman rifle, called the Gullstock, can one-shot basically anything, but it doesn't have a scope, so aim carefully. Lastly, at the butt of the game, you get the handheld grenade launcher, and it's exactly what you think. I didn't use this one much at all, but most of the time I did. The grenade would miss because the target moved before the grenade could reach them. Anyway, let's talk about enemies next. All of the enemies in this game are easily identifiable during combat, allowing you to prioritize certain targets over others. Each enemy also comes with its own backstory, adding to the universe of El Paso elsewhere. The first and most basic enemy you encounter is the vampire. They run towards you and can only do melee attacks. Then there's the werewolves, who are sometimes a pain to deal with. They lunge at you at any chance they get, and in groups they can really screw you over. The witch bride is also a pain to deal with, much more so than the werewolf. They charge up and then throw orbs at you that do way too much damage. You could easily dodge by rolling because the roll acts like the one in Dark Souls, where even if you're in the attack zone, you don't take any damage. On the other hand, shoot dodging doesn't do anything, and you'll still take damage. In conjunction with this problem, the Witch Bride also has weird sound cues, where you won't be able to tell if the sound is coming from an enemy or if it's just part of the ambience. In conclusion, I hate the Witch Bride. There's more, including a few boss fights which are usually either way too easy or way too hard. This game doesn't seem to have a difficulty setting, so replayability on that front may be low, but most of these enemies actually have lore explained in cutscenes at the end of the level they were introduced. A quick point I wanted to mention was the music. This game's music fits extremely well within the setting, plot, and gameplay. It includes rap songs from artists like Savage and RJ Lake, whoever those people are. The rap sounds like it's exhausted but also invigorating. Even the ambient tracks for each of the levels fit so well with the gameplay, with pounding beats as well as beautiful chords. It ties the experience together pretty well despite how it would sound on paper. Slight spoilers from here on out. Like I mentioned before, the story follows James Savage on his journey through the void to stop his vampiric ex from ending the world. Throughout the game, this relationship that they had is gradually revealed to you, using a mix of cutscenes, collectibles, and just generally comments made by James, letting the player get to piece together this picture of their relationship. And it's all so well presented. The cutscenes legitimately have great cinematography. I wasn't expecting that from this game, but they outdid themselves in this department. From the angles to the lighting, and even the fact that some cutscenes utilize subtitles to add to the picture rather than taking away like they usually do. The backstory is also presented through these old movie theater projectors, and the quality of the audio is bad, kind of implying it's just an old memory. But the relationship told through these mediums deteriorates as James continues to plunge into the void, ever closer to Dracula. There are also 2 different endings to the game, but they aren't all that different, and they depend on the ratio of hostages that you saved to how many were killed by you or by enemies. But I believe the message of this story is to never date a blood-sucking woman, especially if she is literally a blood-sucking vampire. Overall, El Paso Elsewhere is an enjoyable experience, especially for Remedy fans out there. I also want to try using a scoring system at the end of my videos now to give a more exact figure of how I think of the games I talk about. I'll give 2 scores, one for the game at its worst and one for the game at its best. You can interpret these however you like, but the point is to convey how consistent the game is as well as what to expect at the highs and lows of the game. You can average these to get a straightforward single number, but that is not what I want to do. I want to make these scores have meaning other than just a number landing between 1 and 10, with most games landing at 7, like IGN does. At its worst, El Paso Elsewhere gets a 6.25. At its best, it gets an 8.5. Anyway, that's all, and Alan Wake is going to drop the same day of this video, and you better believe I'm going to be playing that. Till next time, this is Dad Penguin Boy 887, yo.